Hello, everyone. We're live. We are so excited to start our sixth episode of Slimy Sundays. I can't believe we've already done 6 episodes. This is crazy. We are talking all about what makes a good slime review, and we have the perfect guest today for that. We have Chelsey from Honest Slime Reviews, and she does tons and tons of slime reviews. And do you want to introduce yourself, Chelsey, to everybody?
Sure. I'm Chelsey. My account is Honest Slime Reviews, and I started my account back in May of 2017. And I started with buying lots of slime and started making some videos, and it kind of just went from there, and here we are.
Perfect. Yes, I love your account so much. Everybody, make sure you go check her out. I'll have her account and her shop link down below after this is done being live. And so we're just going to jump right into the first topic to give you a little sense of what we're going to do. First, we're going to start off for slime reviewers, give you guys some tips. Then for slime makers, give you guys some tips about how to send a good slime review and things like that. And then the most exciting topic, we're going to dive into the reality behind slime reviews and just give you guys the honest truth, because that's what we're all about on Slimy Sundays. So let's start off with how do you make a good slime review? So first of all, just a basic question, where can you post slime reviews? So where do you guys think is the best place? On Etsy, Instagram, YouTube? And what are some different approaches you guys take to doing those reviews? Erin, do you want to start that off?
Sure. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Slimy Sundays. You know, as any slime account starting out, I was really hopeful about sending out reviews, and I did send one to Chelsey, and I'll never forget when she posted my review. I was out to dinner with my husband for his birthday, and I was like, hold on, they just posted my review. I have to go listen. I like ran out onto the street. I was like so excited, and I had to go listen to it like as she was posting it. I totally understand how exciting it is when a big account review and putting it together. I don't post reviews. I really don't do it that often. We can get into that a little bit later, but usually what I'll do is if I purchase a slime I really like, I always like talking about it. I like describing it. So that's primarily where I post mine. I've done 1 or 2 on my YouTube channel, but that's the extent to what I do.
Perfect. And Chelsey, do you want to explain what you do?
Sure. So my reviews are closed a good amount of time for certain reasons. It's not that I don't want to review your slimes or anything. So I want to make sure that I can dedicate the amount of time that you deserve. And I remember when I first started my account and it started growing into a couple thousands, a lot of people were asking if they could send me reviews. And I didn't start taking reviews until I had at least 10,000, because I didn't think it would be worth it for these people to spend their money sending me slimes, you know, for only a couple thousand viewers. So I've always wanted to make sure that I dedicate enough time to, even if it's a story review or a page review, I have to make sure that you're getting the respect that you deserve, and I'm available and I'm mentally ready to, you know, take on this task. So I just have to have the time, and it doesn't always happen. But I really like, the reason why I don't take a lot of reviews at like conventions and stuff is because reviews to me are more than just about your slime. It's about your feed, it's about your shop, it's about your themes, it's about you, it's about everything. So I can't take a review at a convention because I want to be able to see everything. So I take the time to pick the reviews that I want and make sure that I can give them the time that they deserve.
Definitely. Yes. And I think that Instagram generally is a great platform for doing reviews because you're to the point, you're succinct. There's a lot of slimers on there watching, and there's a difference I feel like between doing reviews on Instagram versus YouTube or different different places, and versus Etsy, like, or if you leave a review on their actual shop. I think there's a lot of differences between those. And in the chat, Lena said that I think Instagram is best because the videos have to be a certain length and you have to get right to the point. I definitely agree with that. I feel like in some YouTube videos, people definitely meander around what they're trying to get to, but Instagram, you're right to the point. You have that time limit and you're just, you get to what you're trying to say. Yeah, so let's move on to the next question. So what are the components to slime reviews? So what are different factors you take into account? Do you want to start us off on that, Chelsey?
Sure. So before I even choose your account, I go to your feed. I look and see if it's a nice clean feed. It doesn't have to have a theme, but I like channels that have decent lighting, which if you just natural lighting is better than most, I feel. Nice lighting, interesting thumbnails, not clickbaity thumbnails, interesting looking slimes, and are you active? So once I pick an account that catches my eye, then I'm looking for you to send me 3 to 4 different slimes that I feel best represent your shop. So if you want to send 3 butters, that's fine. It doesn't have to be, would I prefer some different textures? Sure. But if you feel like butter slime is what you want to do and that represents your shop, just make sure it has a little variety. So I like to, have people send me something that is representative of their shop. And I like them to send it in a timely manner because I only accept reviews when I have the time. So if it doesn't fall in that, then it makes it harder for me to sit down and get it done. But, nice labels, good packaging, logos, logos are nice. I feel like as a slime community, we've kind of moved on to like nicer and better packaging. So I'm always looking for nice, clean labels and containers and, I just like a nice, well-rounded review.
Definitely, yes. There's lots of components that I feel like goes into it. Like you have to, there's the scent, there's the texture, the color, the packaging, the like even customer service sometimes. Well, all of the time is really important. If the package gets lost, if the package, like there's so many different components that go into that. But overall, I think the most important to me, at least, is the slime. It's like all of the components about the slime is the most important. Sometimes I will overlook the packaging if the slime is amazing, right? But I feel like good packaging can't make up for not bad slime, but slime that isn't right. That's just my thoughts on it. What do you think, Erin?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I always look for interesting scents. I think if, and that's a totally subjective thing, I realize. Whether a slime is sticky or not necessarily something I personally take into account, extremely overactivated or something like that, But again, as just a strictly producer, not a review account, I will post a review of a slime if it stands out. Its texture, its unique texture, it's just its unique. Like for instance, I purchased from Rodem slime over the holiday account. I think is a super underrated, interesting concept. I mean, she just so I have a whole bunch of videos I haven't posted. They just stood out to me as unique and different and something out of the ordinary. Someone who buys slime because I like to play with it, not kind of goes above and beyond in maybe areas, then I will definitely post people because fellow slimers experience it too. But also, I want this person to get exposure because they deserve it. They've clearly worked really hard and they, are doing something different and new.
Erin, I think you're cutting in a little bit, in and out a little bit, but I think what I got from that is you really like people who are trying something new, like Rodem slimes, and who are doing something different, and you really want to give them the exposure on your account if you like it, and give them a review. Is yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And
Perfect.
because my connection is bad, I'm going to be I'll switch to my computer and hopefully that will be better. I'm going to pop out, guys, and I'll be back in just a few.
Okay, perfect. We'll move on to the next question in the meantime. And we kind of covered this, but what do you look for in a slime purchase? So what really stands out to you if you see something, like if you're just perusing looking for a new shop to buy from, Chelsey, what really catches your eye and you're like, I have to have that slime right now?
In pictures or videos?
Both, either or,
gosh.
whatever.
Okay. Well, a big thing obviously is word of mouth. If my friend says, you know, you really have to try this, then I'm going to believe them because I know my friends have good taste.
Definitely.
But also, like Erin was saying, you know, Rodem slime, like just things that are unique and outside of the box. Those always catch my eye. New textures, new colors, new, you know, presentations, like what Muck Muds does with her slime drizzling and all, like those are eye-catching. And, you know, even themes are really catching to me. But yeah, I always like to find out like what my friends are trying and what's a really cool texture. If I feel a really cool texture, the first thing I do is that you guys have to try this.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Texture, I love that the slime community is constantly coming out with new things to stick into slime.
Yeah.
It's fun, you know?
It's so exciting. And I definitely agree with that. When I look for slime to review, it's usually because on Instagram I've seen an interesting video that's piqued my interest, and then I've gone to their shop and been like, I have to check that out. Like I just purchased from Momo Slimes. And she made the cinnamon bun slimes. Yes, and that caught my eye and was like, I gotta grab these. And like, and I saw her video of her putting it together, and that really piqued my interest. So I feel like if you make like when you see those interesting slimes, and if you're a slime reviewer, it's really important to find those early on and review those, so then you spread the word about that. And when people are looking up reviews of Momo Slimes is lava cake, your video comes up because they are really interested in that, and that's something that's a hot topic that people are looking for.
Yeah, I mean, those iconic slimes that everybody wants, like the lava cake and, you know, so many things that are so creative, the first of its kind, out of the box, and those are what are really, really popular right now. And back when I was starting,
I'm back.
The slimes that
perfect.
Back when I was starting, things were much different in the slime community back in 2017 than it is now. Slimes weren't, I would say they weren't as like extensive or like, I'm trying to find the right word for it. Not much more simpler.
Yes.
But, now they have so much more, you know, different things that you can do with slime. But before it was just like word of mouth and kind of larger accounts, what was popular from them. You know, I started out with buying slimes from Glitter Slimes, OG, Slime Hive, sent slime by Amy, you know, and then kind of moved on from there. I found a lot of my reviews from those accounts, like when Amanda from the Slime Hive would be reviewing, or she would buy a slime, and on her story she would talk about it, and I'd be like, wow, if she likes it, then I need to try it, you know?
Yeah, I definitely think there's two approaches you should take as a slime reviewer. So if you're on Instagram, I think that there's already so many reviews of the bigger slime accounts, it's kind of hard to stand out amongst that. But if you find those, not diamonds in the rough, but those underrated unknown accounts, and you do reviews of those, I think that's where you can really stand out. But I don't necessarily think buying from the larger shops and doing reviews of those will be a effective use of your money and doing those reviews if you want to, because getting from those smaller shops is what people are wanting to see, because they already know what the bigger shops are offering. And they're, if you like, and if there's a bigger shop that comes out with a new slime, I'm gonna go to Chelsey's account because I trust her, and they're gonna go to already established accounts. So if you're a newcomer into the slime community, you want to stand out by doing those underrated slimes. But whereas on YouTube, I think people are constantly searching for those bigger accounts. So I think if you're doing reviews on YouTube, it's a good idea to start out with those bigger accounts, because that would really help build you up, because YouTube is more of a search engine, whereas Instagram is more, you see it organically in your feed, or you see someone talk about it, and it's more likely that the smaller account will mention that, oh, this person reviewed my slime, go check them out, rather than a larger account, because they get such a high volume of reviews. So those are two thoughts that I had on that. But let's jump into how reviews have changed over time, because I think there has been a big change, and you have seen that all, Chelsey. But Erin, do you want to start off with how do you think you have seen reviews change, if any?
Well, I mean, I've noticed a lot more people post reviews on their stories. I think back in the beginning, when I first joined the community, I think the preference was you wanted the review posted on feeds. At least that was my personal opinion. Now I tend to think that with the algorithm changing, at least I know the first thing I go to look at are people's stories. I think that's kind of the draw these days. So I think it's preferable to have someone actually spend the time unboxing, talking about it, like really giving a clear experience that they're sharing with you, so you can experience what they're experiencing and see what it would be like to actually purchase from that shop. So that's the main thing I've kind of noticed. I don't know about you, Chelsey.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that. Unfortunately, the algorithm has not helped my story views very much. So,
same.
Right. So I personally still feel like, just from my account, that the page views would be better for a review, a full-on review. For like one slime or so, I don't mind, doing story reviews, but I feel like with page reviews, when I sit down and film it, I have lots of time. I can make errors. I can take a break. I'm not trying to get them on the story as fast as I can. I can take the time and edit it. And, if I sneeze, I can edit it out. And I don't have to replay with the slime to show the clip. That's just me personally, but I do definitely agree with Erin that a lot more people will see certain people's stories and reviews that way.
Definitely. And I also see something with a lot of untapped potential is IGTV. A lot of people, I think what I've been doing is I've been doing my reviews on my stories, and then I download all the clips and I compile them together and I put them on IGTV, so that they are, because my stories will disappear after 24 hours, but on IGTV they'll be there forever. So then all that time I spent doing the review won't not go to waste, but like all that time I spent, it'll be there. And my videos have been actually doing really well on IGTV, because the reviews are long form and they are already filmed in the vertical manner that IGTV likes. And if anybody's curious, the app I use to compile all those clips together is called Splice, and you just have to make sure you pick the portrait mode when you put them together. So that's a tip that I have if you're a slime reviewer, because that has been really helpful for me. And I think that's really great for the person you're reviewing as well, because then their slimes, they have people are always checking my IGTV, and then like a slime I posted 3 months ago is still getting views on IGTV, which is crazy to me, because a lot of times in my feed, once I post a video after a week or so, I stop getting as much engagement on it. But I'm finding on IGTV I'm getting that longer engagement. So that's something. But that kind of leads into about the story reviews. We have a follower question from Milk Bun Slime, and that was on Instagram, and they asked, what's better, talking story reviews or story reviews where you write the captions? What do you guys think? Either of you.
I mean, personally, I've noticed that I tend to gain more when someone posts one of my slimes on their stories. That's what I've noticed. That's how I kind of grew in the beginning. Was through a quick burst of lots of reviews that I had been sending out. And guys, can you see me and hear me okay now? Am I better?
It's a little choppy, but it's better, yes.
Family, if you're watching, turn off your live stream. It might. So yes, I personally, as a slime maker, I prefer having someone review my slime on their story. Quicker over the 24-hour period that it's on a story than I would if it's on a feed. And I noticed that before the algorithm switch, but I'd be curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are.
What was the question?
If what do you think is better, talking story reviews or the story with the text over it?
Oh, we're just talking stories?
Yeah, I think
or
right.
Opposed. Okay.
Either well, yeah. I think on the pages, mostly you don't really do talking reviews on the pages because people want to hear that ASMR. But on stories, sometimes people do. Those two different options are the main ones. So, what do you think, Chelsey?
Well, that's a good one because I don't think I've done too many of the ones with the captions on it. Actually, I just feel like if I want to tell you how much I like a slime, I want you to hear it in my voice, you know? So you can't really tell how much I love this slime if I'm just, you know, if there are a couple exclamation points. Like, I mean, you can fake exclamation points and, you know, sincerity, but you can definitely hear how much you actually like a slime in someone's voice. And I've had people talk to me before after I've done slime reviews when I was starting to get, like, really exhausted from doing a lot of story reviews, and I was just kind of burnt sound really like, I know I should probably have done this another time, but you can tell, you know, how someone feels about a slime when they're talking. So I guess I prefer that way.
True. Personally, I'm the opposite. I've only ever done the ones with the captions over them, just because I like a lot of my followers, especially in the beginning, the feedback I got was we want to hear the slime, and so they like the ASMR sounds of it. So, and also it works well for me for when I upload it to IGTV because then it's just the sounds. So that's what people have liked when I've done it. But it's really up to you what you think works better for you, because I only post on my story. I'll post just the most satisfying parts of it because I actually film it just on my camera roll, and then I'll cut it up on Splice, and I'll just put up the most satisfying parts of the slime. And that's what works for me because I like to just put the highlight reel and cut out all of my the parts where the slime isn't as satisfying, so people keep watching my story because I want the slime to be viewed, and I want people to keep watching, and I don't want to just post on my story for the heck of posting on my story, right? So I just want to make sure that what I'm posting is really intriguing and interesting. And
I noticed a lot of people in the comments are asking about live unboxings and live reviews. Do we want to dive into that a little bit? Because I have some thoughts on that.
Yes, definitely. And
you know, it may. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. One quick thing was that should story reviews be put into a highlight? Just a really quick question. I personally, I wouldn't really put them into a highlight because there's only so many highlights you can have, and my story reviews are quite long, and it fills up pretty quickly. So what I do to keep them is I put them on IGTV. So that's my way of doing that. But really quickly before we dive into the lives, what do you guys think about that? And that question was from Slimeopolis 3.
I agree.
Yeah.
I used to do it when I only had a few. When I only had like a couple at a time, I would leave it up for a while, just because, you know, when I post something on my page, it stays there for months and months until I archive it. With the story review, you know, not all my followers are going to happen to see my story that time. So if I leave it, I used to leave it up on my page for a while. That way they just get a little bit more extra feedback. It's all, for me, it's all about what is most beneficial for the person that I'm reviewing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's jump into that question about lives. I believe someone asked, Aniston asked that, so she sent someone a review because they had lots of followers, and they reviewed it on a live, and only about 15 people joined the live, so they didn't gain much from that. What are your opinions on that?
Not for it.
Yeah?
Not for it.
I mean, I'm not necessarily against it, to be honest with you, because it may have appeared that only 15 people joined the live, but people watch that live throughout the course of the 24 hours that it's posted. So if you're concerned about, I mean, if they left the live up, then chances are they probably got thousands of views on it if they're a huge account. That's a question I think you should ask that account. Because as someone who has posted lives before, you know, you can go down and see how many people watched it throughout the course of the 24 hours you left it up. So chances are way more than 15 people saw that. But I do think it's a lot different than posting it on your story. Don't you guys agree?
I agree. My big thing is just making sure that that is a mutual decision, because if you're sending someone a review and you're expecting a certain thing, you guys need to make sure you're on the same page. You don't want to send a reviewer something and expect one thing and then it's completely different, because you're going to feel really disappointed. So I think that if you're going to do something, I remember I did a review for, I might be saying this wrong, Kurobara. Do you remember her, Erin?
Yeah,
Kurobara?
I do.
Yeah, Paula, last year or so ago, a while ago, and she sent me like 10 8-ounce slimes. And I was like, there's no way I can get through all these, you know, slimes to, you know, keep people's interest. So I asked her, would you mind if I unboxed all these and played with them on a live? And she said, absolutely. And, you know,
I watched that live.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. But yeah, so, I mean, I think as long as it's okay with both people, it's not a problem. But it might be a little unfair if you just do that kind of just to like get it out of the way, and the other person isn't really okay with it.
Yeah, I think it's, if you're looking at it from both sides, like as a reviewer, I can't control how many people see my videos. I can't control that. It's really, it's not up to me. I can do as much as I can, but it's like, I always make it clear that these are like, it's story reviews that I do story reviews, and anything else that I do on top of that, if I post on my feed or post to IGTV, that's like gravy on top, right? But it's like, I just make sure that I get those story reviews done. So make sure that's clear between when you're picking who you want to review your slime, make sure that's clear between you and them, because you should, my philosophy, in if I was sending someone a review, I want to make sure, even if I got no sales from it or nothing, that I would still be happy that they received my slime and played with it. Like, because I feel like you should just have that expectation, and then whatever happens, happens. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to be clear, both as a reviewer, especially as a reviewer, you need to be clear of what your rules are and what is expected of the person that's sending it and what they can expect from your review. And even then, before I really make any decisions, I'll contact the person. Like I had a review from Sweet Slimy Nation recently, and I asked her, I said, you know, do you want me to post, you know, one video on the page, or do you want me to post like individual ones? Because I think personally with my account, as far as the algorithm goes, multiple posts on my page are going to be better for her and her account, rather than one big one. Because, and this is what we were talking about with YouTube, how YouTube, you kind of have a lot more room to talk about your reviews. Yes, you can be succinct and quick with 1 minute, but then I also feel like that kind of makes people want to rush, because you don't want to have to add multiple clips, you know, multiple slides. So you kind of want to rush and get them all done in 1 minute. So it's kind of like what they prefer. And I told her, I said, I think maybe it'll be beneficial if I posted multiple posts on my page. So.
Definitely. And I see a comment from Slime Shady Shop, and they said, if you're sending a review, it should be for the purpose of review, not for gaining X amount of followers. And I totally wholeheartedly agree with that, because that is such a great sentiment that you should listen to. So thank you very much for that comment. And I see another question here just before we jump into our next topic. It's from Brendan, and it's, do you feel obligated to review a slime that was sent to you out of the blue? Should you both agree to review the product before someone can just send you a slime and expect a review? I have thoughts on this, you guys.
I mean, I'm sure Chelsey has way more thoughts than I do, but just speaking from someone who this happens to a lot, I mean, you guys know me. I try to be, the reason I don't do reviews is because I'm extremely uncomfortable giving negative feedback. I can't do it. I would like to be able to do that, but I can't. And
Erin, you're so sweet.
You don't want to hear my negative feedback, trust me. So I just don't do it. I'm not even going to enter into that territory. And I applaud people like Chelsey who are comfortable giving constructive criticism. I personally am not. But yes, I feel an intense guilt when I receive gifts and packages and things sent out of the blue. I feel an intense obligation when I get extras, to the point where I'm like, everything else is kind of getting put aside. And so I don't want to sound like I'm ungrateful for that, but like,
Right.
if you take into consideration that I'm a mom, I have 2 kids, I'm running a startup business, I'm home alone with my kids most of the time. I don't have a whole lot of help. Like, it's really hard to make time to do this. So I've finally gotten to the point where I've actually said, like, guys, I can't always do this. I'll do it if I can, but I can't. So yes, there's an obligation, and I don't want to sound ungrateful, but I don't care for that obligation. It's hard. That's why I say, please don't send me anything, because I don't want, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Definitely. I totally agree with that. And let's really quickly jump into the next topic, because I see we're halfway through the live stream. So Erin, do you want to kick that topic off?
Yes. So our next topic is reviews for slime makers. How do I make slime that gets positive reviews? And this is such a subjective topic. You know, I think it completely depends on the slime reviewer and the slime maker. And I think just digging into this, let's talk about why some accounts and some products take off and why some don't. We've talked about this topic before. We've talked about self-hyping yourself, which I think is a really big thing in our community these days. And I'm, you know, people hype their slimes up, and they hype them up, and they hype them up. And sometimes, like, that's the only reason why people are buying their slimes, because you have to be your best, like, hype man. But I think at the end of the day, though, what makes a good review is what we were talking about before. I think, it's really important not to demand someone takes your review. If someone's not accepting reviews, don't pester them. Wait until they open up reviews. If there's nothing posted on their page about it, don't ask them, because chances are that means they're not accepting reviews. And to be honest with you, that's one of the major things that, like, really bugs me, is I get dozens of DMs a day asking if I review, and it's right there in my highlights. I don't do reviews, and if I do, you'll know. It'll be open. I hate to sound irritated about that, but, like, I get that asked that so much. It's more of not pestering someone is one of the first ways to get noticed. And we talked about that. Don't ask someone to follow you. Don't ask someone to review you. Wait for your turn. Be patient. It will happen.
Exactly.
You know?
Yep. What do you think, Chelsey?
I agree. The only thing is, not everyone's really ready for maybe an honest review. Not everybody really wants a review for review purposes. They want a review so they can grow. And, you know, I'm not sure if that's really the right reason to be doing it. I understand the desire to want to grow and succeed and gain lots and lots of followers. You know, it's very exciting. And, but if you really want a review of your slime for the purpose of, you know, bettering yourself and your shop and your products, then you need to be prepared for constructive criticism. And I always try and be very polite in my criticism. I don't like being mean. I don't like giving negative feedback, but that's what I did. I started the honest reviews, and that's what I gotta do. It's a dirty job. Someone's gotta do it.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're the kind of person who's offended easily by a negative review, then you should probably wait to send out a review. Yep. Or if you have some new slimes you're not quite sure about, you should send them to some trusted friends who you can rely on to give you 100% honest feedback. I have a few friends in the community that I do this with regularly, and there was a jelly slime I made last year that I sent to someone, and she was like, sticky AF, like, it's not good. You need to change it. And I did. And so, you know, like, I really appreciated that, Grace Cookie Dough Slime, for telling me. She's like, it's a mess, you know, and she's so sweet. But like, she told me, like, it's sticky, and it, you know, and I was like, yeah, I need to change that recipe right away. And I pulled it out of my shop and I revamped it, because I knew if she was telling me it was bad, you know. So that's something you should try to develop friendships with people in the community that, you know, you can kind of prepare for the big show, so to speak, before you send in a big review package. If you truly want that honest feedback, ask your friends what they really think, and be prepared to not get your feelings hurt if they don't like it.
Yeah, not a friend that's going to be like, it's great, everything's perfect. You need a friend who's going to be real with you. I did that, the same thing, Erin. I sent my Slurpee duo to one of my like repeat customers who was like always there every restock. Like she buys like one of everything, and I was testing out a new you know, jelly slime, and I sent her one before anyone else. And I was like, let me know what you think. And she was like, it's sticky, but it's also rippy. I'm like, that's fine, you know, like, I'm totally on with it. And I asked, when I debuted my first milkshake slime later, Brendan, I asked Brendan about it, and I was like, what did you think of it? And she told me it was a little bit rippy, and to add, you know, lotion and stuff in. I'm like, cool. And now I love it. You know, my texture is much better. So, you know, you got to find someone who's going to be straight with you. So.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. So let's talk about extras in a review package. How much do they matter? I know personally, like, I try to do that a lot in the beginning. I would try to get to know the reviewer and, you know, go out to the store and buy stuff. I made Chelsey a paper succulent, you know. Yay, good. You know, and because like you really want them to be blown away, but like at the end of the day, is that important? Chelsey, is it important?
No.
I mean, it's not the slime. It's not important.
It's not.
Right?
But I mean, it's the thought that counts. Like, it endeared me to you. Like, I love you. You're a wonderful person, and you're the kind of person who, you know, does something like that. And that's just you. Like, it has no basis on like your review, to be honest. So, but that's why I always tell people, don't send me any extras. Just if you want to send borax, you don't have to. If you know, just let me know. Just tell me what you send in a normal customer, to a normal customer. It doesn't, I mean, it's not going to change my opinion of your slime. That's the thing. If you send me a bunch of candy and stuff, like, that's really sweet. But one, I don't want you to spend your money on me. You're already spending money to send me this review. I don't need you to spend money. And two, it's not going to change your review. So, I mean, I appreciate it, and it's sweet, and it's very kind, but it's really unnecessary, in my opinion.
Yes, and especially if you are someone without a driver's license, someone without a full-time job, like, please don't feel obligated to do that ever. It's not, you know, especially if like you're trading. Lately, when I've been trading with friends, I've said, and Chelsey, you and I did this recently, like, please don't send me, like, we are agreeing on this amount. Just swapping this all. And I always try to put that up front, like, don't feel obligated to send me anything, because I already love you. You know, you don't need to send me anything else. What do you think, Alyssa?
Extras, they don't really matter that much to me when I'm reviewing a slime. Like, it's great if you send me things, but I'm reviewing the slime on the slime alone. It's not going to impact whether I think your slime is, it's not going to impact my review if you send me 50 extras versus none. So
I hate the fact that extras have been like expected for so long. Like, you know, when did it ever start that it was expected? Like, people will take off stars and reviews if there were no extras, or if there were only one lollipop instead of two. Like, I mean, really?
No.
Time review. But
I know.
I don't understand. I mean, when I first started, like, it was like, OG, she would send borax, a card, and a Zot. And that was it, you know? And I think she still does that. And there are people that don't send any extras. Slime Buns, I don't think she does any extras. She's done that the whole time. And look at how successful she is. You don't need to send extras. They're extra. And you should be very appreciative that people are sending extras instead of taking points off on them not being enough.
Yeah. I mean, there's been times that I have delayed shipments on restocks because I was out of candy or I was out of borax baggies, and it took hours for me to fill the bags. And I was like, would they rather get their slime on time, or would they rather have this little baggie of borax?
Yeah.
Like, and that's honestly, guys, in the comments, let me know what you think, because there have been times that shipments have been delayed by up to 2 days because I'm over here like filling my borax baggies, trying to get them in with your shipments. The slimes are always ready. It's the accoutrements that go with it that take the time, you know.
It's a pain as a slime maker to do that, to fill all those extra bags, especially when 85% of it's going to be thrown right in the trash.
Yeah, and someone said, Cindy Harris, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, said, I don't really get extras. It's purely a slot. Oh, Cindy, right. So I really get the extras. That's a purely slime thing, and that's so true. Whenever I order anything from Etsy, there's no extras in it. Like, I've ordered jewelry and earrings and like charms and different things, and there's never any extras. There's a business card and that's it. So it's only a slime thing, I think.
I think
yeah. I mean,
required is probably is probably just maybe care instructions and borax.
Yeah.
But a lot of people already have borax, or they have like a stash. When I first opened my shop, like, here's a secret, I had a stash of borax baggies from all of the stairs that I kept, and those are the ones that were like my first order. I had so many borax bags. I was like, okay, all right. So, I mean, I'd never use it. I have my own box of borax, but maybe a care sheet, you know, and borax if it's someone's first time. Like, my mom ordered a slime from a shop that I reviewed, and it was her very first one, and they didn't send any borax, and she was like, I don't know what to do with this. It's so sticky. And so I think borax and a care sheet is all you really need.
Yep. All right. So let's talk a little about okay, I'm going to take a question from birdtown.slimes on Instagram. She says, or he says, what do I do when someone reviews my slime and keeps bringing me down? This is a broad question. By bringing me down, I'm not quite sure what they mean by that. Maybe negative feedback. What do I do? Maybe we could rephrase this. What do you do when you get a negative review? How do we handle that? Let's talk about what we think the ideal way to handle a negative review would be. And Chelsey, I mean, you're the best person to answer this because you have given negative reviews. What are some feedback in the wake of giving a negative review, and how does that work?
So this is really interesting because yesterday at Slimers in the City, I met Nicole Jacqueline for the first time. And I don't know if any of you are kind of longer OG followers, but I gave Nicole not such a great review last year or a year. I don't even know. And whenever I give a bad review, I feel awful. I feel so bad. I try and be as nice as I can about it, and it tears, like, my stomach is in knots. I hate it. I do not like giving negative feedback. But I gave the bad review, and honestly, I think Nicole just let it roll off her back. I mean, she didn't seem fazed by it. She's still doing fine. She came up to me and we talked, and both of us had thought we were like mad at each other or something, but we were like, no, I love you. It's no problem. You know, that was so long ago. But honestly, I really do think that a lot of people should take constructive criticism, not the criticism part, but the constructive part. You know, what can I do? What can I take this from? Just let that one. It's only one review. It's not going to kill your shop unless you let it.
Exactly.
Unless you take that defeat and and don't improve on your shop. There have been a couple people that I've given constructive criticism to, and they've taken it and they've used it to improve their shop. And I think that that's really admirable. But then again, it's hard for me because I feel like, who am I? It's just my opinion. You don't have to listen to me. But, if people do send you a review, they are looking for your feedback. And you want to be honest with them. And if it's not good, then
it doesn't do anybody any good to lie to make someone feel better. I mean, at the end of the day, in life, I think there are times to lie to make someone feel better, and there are times to be really honest. And I would say 90% of the time with anything, it's best to just be honest so that, you're above board. You don't go on thinking like, I'm going to keep sending this out, because then what if you've got customers that are really unhappy? Like at the end of the day, if you're a slime shop, you want to know if something is not working. Like, I want to know. I'm not going to be defensive and mad. Like, you know, there's been some things that have happened in the past with my shop where people didn't like certain things, or a slime wasn't working. Like, I have some really great that are probably on today that have no problem emailing me and being like, look, you should know that X, Y, and Z happened with your slime, and I don't like it. Like Quake Cake, one of my colors, I've been getting so much feedback in the winter about how rippy it was. And I was like, okay, I need to reformulate it clearly, because it's not working. It's not working in the cold weather. People aren't liking it, and I need to fix it, you know? And so I heard that enough times that it was like, okay, it's not just one person trying to be mean to me. You know, it's a person who actually enjoys buying my slime and wants to keep enjoying it. So I'm not going to get PO'd about it. I'm going to fix it.
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking negative comments, like actually saying, this is disgusting, this sucks, this is horrible, that's different. That's not a review. That's, I don't know what that is. If that's what we're talking about, that's a different story. But if we're talking about, you know, saying this part isn't very good and this part isn't very good, then I would say take it and see what you can do to improve yourself and move on.
And we're saying this, and I know sometimes it can be really hard sometimes to hear even constructive criticism. It's still criticism, and that can be really, really difficult to take, especially if you've never had that constructive criticism before, or if you don't know how to handle it. That can be really difficult, and it's hard to take that in a mature way sometimes. And your first reaction sometimes can be like a split reaction. Oh, I'm gonna go in my story and just say that they're wrong, and like so many different things. But what I really think is a good idea is to read the review or listen to the review, like step away from it for a week or like a couple days, and then come back and look at it, and when you're not as emotional about it, and just take that criticism and take it and use that to make your shop better or make your slimes better, because that's what your goal is. And just realize that nobody that I know has ever reviewed a slime with the intent to be mean or be rude to you. Nobody ever does that. It's just because they want you to improve, and they want, that's all people want, really. Nobody has malicious intentions. So I think that's a great way to go about that. And I really think we should jump into our next topic, which is the reality behind slime reviews, because there is so much we could talk about. And starting off, do you guys think that sending reviews actually helps grow your account? What do you guys think?
I'm happy to jump in, because personally speaking, I hung around at about 300 followers for about 4 months when I first started my review, or my account. And I happened to buy from Teresa at Muggle Slimes. And I posted a review of a slime that was brand new in her shop on my story. And all of a sudden, Teresa replied and said, "Thank you so much. I really wanted to know what people thought about this new slime." And then she started following me. And I was like, "Ooh, like I'm dead. Muggle Slimes is following me." You know, we've all had that moment where you see that someone's following you and you're so excited. And every time I see Teresa, I'm like, Teresa. But then she ended up buying one of my slimes and posted it on her story, and my account took off from there. So she noticed me. We didn't really touch on it before, but she noticed me because I had reviewed one of her lesser known slimes. And so I'm not saying this is a strategy. It wasn't a strategy in my mind. I just really liked it and I wanted to post it. But, you know, as it pertains to getting the attention of another account, that's always a way I've noticed, you know, if I've posted, sometimes they notice that I post slime and they repost it on their stories. I always try to do that if someone's purchased one of my slimes. But there were a few accounts I sent to, like Chelsey. I traded with Elena from the Bomb Slime very early on. You know, a couple of these reviews, Rachel Bookshelf Slimes, a couple people posted reviews of my slimes, and it really did help me grow, but it's not the only reason I grew. You know, you have to kind of use that as momentum and not always assume it's going to give you this huge burst of growth. It's purely a way to get a lot of eyeballs on your feed when they're viewing your review. So you have to do the work and continue to engage with your followers and continue to repost and promote your slimes.
Right.
And if you're going to send a review to a big account, make sure those are slimes that you can have available to people to purchase. That's the other thing. You know, I'll watch a review now even and go, ooh, I want to buy that. And I'll go to that person's shop and you know, and it's like, oh, I made that like 6 months ago, you know, and it's like, oh, well, I wanted to buy it, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think you should ever assume that just by, we've covered this, but I don't think you should ever assume that by sending a review, you're going to grow. It's just purely a way to get some attention, negative or positive. You've got to be ready for that. Yeah. But you also have to be ready for like what you're going to do next. Once you have those eyeballs on your feed and your account, you've got to have a strategy. Like if you want to grow, you got to work at it.
Right.
Yes. So I definitely agree with that. I think I personally have, when I had my shop, I never sent a review just because that wasn't a big thing when I had my shop in the beginning in the end of 2016, early 2017. It was a long time ago, guys, and reviews were not a thing, were not a big thing. And so and because there wasn't that many big slime accounts to actually review the slime. But I think in today's slime, the atmosphere that we're in now, I think it's really important you want to do anything you can to stand out, and reviews are a way of doing that, right? Because, you know, I forget the number. It's when people buy products, they see it like something like 6 times before they actually buy it or something. And like, I feel like just getting that exposure and people seeing it, like it takes a couple of times of me actually seeing it on different people's pages and different things before I will actually check out the account or I'll check out the slime, because it just takes that for me. I have to be really intrigued by it, and I'm not going to get that by just seeing it on one person's page. So if you send a review and, you know, you don't get many followers or things from that, but people have seen that your slime once before. So then next time when they see your review on a different account, they're going to be like, wow, I'm intrigued by this. I saw it before and now I'm going to look at it now. So that's like my thoughts on reviews. I don't think they can ever really hurt you, even with constructive criticism or anything. Just getting your slime out there is good. Yeah.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. And so let's move on to the next question. And it's, what is the procedure for reviewing a slime that's made by your friends? What do you guys think about that? Chelsey, do you want to start with that?
Oh, gosh. Well, that's a hard one because I don't really review slimes for my friends anymore. Because it's gotten harder. It's gotten harder the closer I get to people. But then again, I also have friends that make really good slime. So what can I say? I don't. they're good slime makers. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of like uncharted territory. That's, you know, you don't want to be offensive, so I kind of just do it privately now. I don't really do anything about reviews for my friends because, like, if they don't make bad slime. I don't know how to answer that.
Like, for example, a while back, I did a trade package with some other slime, Sasha, and I reviewed her slime on my YouTube channel, and there was one slime that it had hardened up over shipping, and it just wasn't the best, and I said, and I just fixed it, and I added lotion, and I showed people how to fix their slime, because that's a reality of slime, you know, it's not always, you know, you have to fix it sometimes, and I did it in a respectful way. Like we still were fine. We have a great friendship. And I think the way to go about doing that is, if they're your friend, you just either you explicitly just say, this is a trade package, or I bought slime from my friend and I'm just talking about it. This is not a review. Like,
you don't have to
because you know, you can even say, you know, I'm definitely biased with this because it's my friend. But if you do want to review slime that you're friends with, just say, I do have a personal relationship with this person, we're friends, and just preface it with that so people know that you are friends, you know, and if they, it's up to them to decide if they trust you enough to give your honest review, because, you know, in the past, you've always given your honest review, so if they trust you, they're going to still listen to it no matter what you say. I think that's my thoughts on it, and that can be really difficult.
I see that question in the comments that we should take, and a bunch of people are saying they want to hear Chelsey's worst reaction to a negative review.
Ooh.
What do you mean?
What's Like, you've given a negative review. What is the worst reaction you've gotten when you've given a negative review? That's what.
When I've given him a negative review.
Yeah.
So like you reviewed this. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Well, it's a live chat question, not one from me.
No, yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't even know if she's around anymore, but should I say a name or should I leave it I'll leave it not.
Yeah, just leave it. Just say what happened.
In general. So I waited a very, very long time to get this certain slime, and it was very like disappointing or whatever. That person like commented and like was very upset and very defensive and was like kind of mouthing off in the comments, and then they blocked me, and I guess that's the worst that could happen. But it's just a lot of passive aggressive story posting, and you know that people are like talking about you and stuff. And I've also had people I've had someone close their shop after a bad review.
Oh.
I know, I felt really bad. Also another review that I didn't consider was bad, but I guess they were not happy with it because it wasn't perfect. They had me take it down right away, so that was unfortunate. Gosh, I can't remember what else, but yeah, probably the coming into my comment section and being very aggressive and blocking me. And
I think I remember that happening. I remember that. I was like, this is so, but
I felt really bad, but I was like
yes, and I think we'll ask. Well, we have time for one more question, and then we'll jump into the Slimer shout out. And this was from Tangible Slimes on Instagram, and they asked, "How expensive is it to be a slime review account?" What do you think? What do you guys think about that?
I mean, this is new, Chelsey. I mean,
it's as expensive as you want it to be. I mean, I clearly had an addiction to buying slime and playing with slime, so I'm probably not the best person to talk about that. But the question I got a lot was, how can you afford that? How can you afford all that slime? And at the time, that was my hobby. That was what I liked to do. That's how I would treat myself. Instead of buying makeup or nail stuff or whatever, I would buy slime because I really enjoyed it. So if you have a budget and you decide that that's how you want to spend your money, then, that's on you. You can, if you post once a day, I mean, that's not going to be that expensive to, if you go in between like your slime, their slime, your slime, it doesn't cost that much if you just buy a couple of slimes, or you can go all out and buy a ton, it's however much you feel like doing. And I bought a lot before. I'm better now.
Yes, definitely. I feel like when you start doing reviews, I have this like thing where I just I buy a bunch all at once, and then I realize oh my gosh, I have so much slime to film. I have no time. Oh my goodness. And then I just cut myself off, and then I take another long period where I just don't buy any slime, and then I just do this huge splurge, which is probably not the best.
One summer, I can't remember if it was 2017 or I think it was 2017. The summer, I went on a trip back to Maryland, and my friends still make fun of me about this, but I came home and there was literally, when I was on vacation, I ordered so much slime. There was a mountain of slime packages covering half of my couch.
Wow.
And, I mean, we're talking I don't know, probably 20 different shops, 25 different shops. I don't know, just while I was gone. And I came back, and when I saw that mountain, I was like, I have a problem. Oh my God. But yeah, so that was embarrassing.
We all have a healthy addiction.
Yes. And so I think I'll jump into the Slimer shout out for this week. Yes. And so for this week, it's Emma from Squish Pop Slimes. And she's so awesome. And I chose her for today's shout out because I just reviewed her slime, and wow, it was so amazing, so professionally packaged. And she has a large variety of slimes that are really underrated, I think. And the color of, I have a slime right here to show you, the color of her lids, the label rubbed off because of some shipping issues, but it's all good. the lids correspond with a specific aspect of the slime. So blue was for bubble pops, pink was for sizzly slime, and green was for crunchy slime, which I thought was so unique, and I've never seen anybody do that before. And it's just really great packaging and branding, and it really makes her stand out. She's also a really big supporter of Slimy Sundays. She always posts on her stories about it, and she's commenting, and it's really great. And Erin and I definitely appreciate that. So definitely make sure you check out her account. I'll make sure to link it down below. And
I just bought from her.
Sorry?
I just bought from her.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And her clear slime is amazing. Her stuff is really good, but her clear slime is some of my favorites.
Yes, I have Lucid Dreams 2.0 from her. It's so gorgeous. And the scents are really nice. Like, they're not, sometimes they can be overpowering or not enough. And this I found was just the perfect in between. And it was just like, great, guys. Highly, highly recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Squish Pop Slime is actually someone that I started following because of a review. I watched Slime Yoda review Squish Pop Slimes, and I immediately checked out the feed. It's a beautiful feed. I think her stories are always entertaining. And I clicked the follow button based solely on a review. So that's, you know, and now Emma's growing and growing, and she's a great account to follow. So that's just a good example right there. Definitely. Reviews can help.
And I want to say a big thank you to everybody who has joined us. A shout out to Cindy, Aniston, Penny, Olivia, Lena, I think, and everybody for coming out and hanging out with us. We had so much fun. And the biggest thank you to Chelsey for joining us. Yes.
So glad to be here.
So make sure you guys check out the rest of the Slimy Sundays. I'll have the playlist linked up in the cards afterwards, and give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed, because we will be having another Slimy Sunday in 2 weeks on Erin's channel on March 3rd. And it's going to be episode 7 of the Slimy Sundays. And we are very excited to reveal who our guest host will be. We are so excited for that. And that's everything we have for you guys. I hope you had tons of fun talking about what makes a good slime review. Feel free to leave any questions that we didn't get to in the comments, and we'll try our best to reply to them. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.